"Daddy, why is that woman crying?" The question froze him. Damilola Adenuga was a man who controlled everything. He was the richest tech billionaire in Lagos, owner of 3 skyscrapers in Victoria Island, a fleet of Range Rovers, and a reputation so clean it could sell anything. That morning, he was driving through Ajigun with his new wife, Kemi, and their perfectly dressed son, on their way to commission a new water project. Good press, good photos, good man, but his life was about to shatter. Before continuing, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next stories. The convoy slowed as they entered the crowded slum street. Hawkers rushed toward the tinted windows. Children played in puddles. The air smelled of fried akra and open gutters. Damilola barely looked up from his phone until his son pointed. There at the edge of the road, a woman knelt in the dirt. She was thin, too thin. Her wrapper was faded. Her headscarf hung loose. In her arms, a small boy, maybe 4 years old, lay limp. She was shaking him gently, whispering something desperate. Her tears fell onto his little face. People walked past her. No one stopped. Damilola's driver honked. The woman didn't move. She was blocking the road. "Sir, should I go around?" the driver asked. Damilola stared. Something in his chest tightened. Something about her face. The shape of her shoulders. The way she held that child as if he were her last breath. He swallowed hard. "Stop the car," he said quietly. Kemi turned to him, her perfect eyebrows raised. "Dammy, we're already late. The press is waiting." I said stop. The driver obeyed. The convoy halted. Security stepped out first. Damilola opened his door and walked toward the woman. His Italian leather shoes sank into the wet dirt. He knelt beside her. "Madam, what happened?" She didn't look up. Her voice was raw, broken. "My son, he's not breathing well. I've been carrying him since morning. No hospital will take us. No money. No one cares." Damilola looked at the boy. His lips were pale. His small chest rose and fell too slowly. "Let me help you," Damilola said, voice firm. "We'll take him to the hospital. Right now." The woman finally looked up. Their eyes met. She froze. He froze. Kemi's voice cut through the air from inside the car. "Dammy, what are you doing?" But Damilola couldn't move. He couldn't breathe, because the woman kneeling in the dirt, holding a dying child, was Folek, his first wife, the one he had divorced 7 years ago, the one who had been pregnant when he left her for Kemi. His mind spun. That child in her arms. He stared at the boy, the shape of his face, his nose, his fingers. "Folek," Damilola whispered, voice shaking. She turned her face away, tears streaming. "Don't. Just don't." "Is he?" "Yes," she said, voice sharp as broken glass. "He's yours." The world tilted. Damilola stood slowly, stepping back. His security moved closer. Kemi got out of the car, heels clicking on wet stone. "Dammy, what's going on?" Kemi's voice was calm, but her eyes were cold. She saw Folek. She saw the child. And she knew. Damilola's son from his second marriage peeked out the car window. "Daddy." Folek clutched her boy tighter. "I don't need your pity. I just need him to breathe." Her voice cracked. "Please, just help him breathe." Damilola turned to his driver. "Take them. Now. St. Nicholas Hospital, VIP wing. I'll cover everything." "Sir." "Now." The driver rushed forward. Security lifted the boy gently. Folek stumbled as she stood, weak from exhaustion. Damilola reached out to steady her. She pulled away. "Don't touch me." Her words cut deeper than any board meeting ever could. They put her and the boy in the second SUV. The door closed. The convoy moved. Kemi stood beside Damilola, watching the car disappear down the road. She smiled. Cold. Controlled. "So," she said softly, "that's her." Damilola said nothing. Kemi turned and walked back to their car. But Damilola stood there, in the middle of Ajigunal, dirt on his shoes, his past staring him in the face. And for the first time in 7 years, he felt something he had buried long ago. Guilt. Damalola didn't go to the water project commissioning. He went to the hospital. The press waited. His team panicked. Kemi went alone, smiling for the cameras, telling them he had an emergency. She was good at that, covering for him, spinning stories, protecting the brand. She had always been good at it. That's why he had chosen her. Flashback, 7 years ago. Folate had been his everything. A quiet university lecturer. A woman with soft hands and softer words. She loved books, loved teaching, loved him in a way that didn't demand anything. They married young. Small ceremony. Family only. No blogs. No influencers. Just them. Then Damalola's tech company exploded. Contracts. Investors. Government deals. Suddenly he was on magazine covers. TV interviews. Every businessman wanted a meeting. Every politician wanted a partnership. And Folake stayed home. She didn't like the spotlight. She didn't understand the game. When investors came to the house, she served them chin-chin and smiled quietly. She didn't pitch, didn't network, didn't dazzle. Kemi did. Kemi was his PR manager. Sharp, beautiful, bold. She knew how to walk into a room and own it. She knew what to say, when to laugh, how to make men write checks. She understood his world. Folake didn't. One night, after a major deal, Damalola came home to find Folake cooking his favorite, jollof rice and peppered snail. She smiled at him, eyes bright. "Dammy, I have news." He barely looked up from his phone. "I'm pregnant." He stopped, looked at her. For a moment, something flickered. Joy, maybe, but then his phone buzzed. A message from Kemi. "Investors want to meet tomorrow. Bring your A game." He looked back at Folake. She was still smiling, holding her belly. That's good," he said, but his voice was flat. She noticed. Weeks passed. He came home late, stopped touching her, stopped asking about the baby. Then one evening, he sat her down. "Folake, this isn't working." She blinked. "What do you mean?" This marriage. I need someone who understands my life. You're a good woman, but what?" Her voice trembled. "You're not enough." The words hung in the air like poison. She cried. She begged. She reminded him of the baby. He handed her divorce papers. "You'll be taken care of, financially. But I can't do this anymore." 3 months later, he married Kemi in a beach wedding in Seychelles. Blogs called it the wedding of the year. Folake disappeared. No one asked about her. Back to the present. Damalola sat in the hospital corridor, head in his hands. Doctors rushed in and out of the boys' room. Folake sat on a bench across from him, staring at the floor. She hadn't said a word since they arrived. Finally, a doctor stepped out. "The boy is stable. Severe malaria and malnutrition. He'll recover, but he needs rest and proper care." Damalola exhaled. Folake stood, eyes red. "Can I see him?" "Yes, but only for a few minutes." She walked past Damalola without looking at him. He stood. "Folake." She stopped, didn't turn around. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked quietly. She laughed, bitter, sharp. "Tell you what? That I had your son? That I struggled alone while you posed for magazines with her? You would have what?" She spun around, eyes blazing. "Sent money? Hired a nanny? Added him to your portfolio of charity projects?" Her words hit like stones. "I didn't know," he whispered. "You didn't care." She turned and walked into the room. Damalola stood there, speechless. Hollow. Then his phone buzzed. A message from Kemi. "We need to talk. Tonight." Damalola came home late. The mansion was quiet. His son from Kemi was already asleep. The housekeeper greeted him at the door, took his jacket, disappeared. Kemi sat in the living room, a glass of wine in her hand. She didn't look up when he entered. "How is she?" Kemi asked, voice smooth. "She's fine. The boy will recover." "Good." Kemi took a sip. "So what now?" Damalola sat across from her. "What do you mean?" She smiled. "Don't play dumb, Dammy. You just found out you have another son. A son with your ex-wife. A son you abandoned. I didn't know. That's not what the blogs will say. She set down her glass. You know how this works. One photo, one story, and your entire image collapses. Damalola clenches fists. So, what do you want to do? Pretend he doesn't exist. Kemi stood, walking toward him slowly. I want you to be smart. You pay for the hospital. You set up a trust fund. You keep them quiet. And we move on. They're not a problem to manage, Kemi. That's my son. She tilted her head. You have a son. He's sleeping upstairs. Damalola stood, voice rising. I have 2 sons. Kemi's expression didn't change. She reached for her phone, typed something, then showed him the screen. It was a draft email to every major blog in Lagos. Billionaire Damalola Adenuga abandons dying son in the slums. Damalola's blood ran cold. You wouldn't. She smiled. I built you. I can destroy you. He stared at her. This woman, the one he had chosen, the one he had left Folake for. She wasn't protecting him. She was protecting herself. Why are you doing this? He whispered. Because I'm pregnant, she said, voice soft. Again, and I won't let some ghost from your past ruin our family. Damalola felt the room spin. Another child, another life, another chain. Kemi stepped closer. So here's what happens. You pay them off. You stay away. And we go back to being Nigeria's power couple. She kissed his cheek. Cold. Calculated. Then she walked upstairs. Damalola stood alone in the massive living room. The one filled with awards, magazine covers, framed photos of his perfect life. And he realized something. He had everything. And he had nothing. The next morning, Damalola went back to the hospital. Folake was asleep beside her son's bed. The boy, his son, was awake, staring at the ceiling. Damalola stepped closer. The boy turned his head. Who are you? The boy asked, voice small. Damalola's throat tightened. I'm a friend. The boy blinked. My mom said my daddy is a big man. A man on TV. Damalola knelt beside the bed. What's your name? Timmy. Timmy, Damalola repeated. His son's name. Timmy smiled weakly. Are you the one who brought us here? Yes. Thank you. Timmy's small hand reached out. Damalola took it. And in that moment, something inside him broke. Folake stirred. Her eyes opened. She saw him holding Timmy's hand. She didn't say anything. Just watched. Damalola stood. I want to help. Real help. Not just money. Folake's face was stone. We don't need you. He's my son. Now you care. Yes, Damalola said, voice shaking. I care. I was wrong. I was selfish. I destroyed us for a life that means nothing. Folake stood, voice low but sharp. You can't fix 7 years with words. Then let me try with action. She stared at him. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Timmy's voice broke the silence. Mommy, is he my daddy? Folake closed her eyes. Tears slid down her face. Damalola knelt beside Timmy. Yes, I'm your daddy. Timmy smiled. A pure, innocent smile. Will you stay this time? Damalola felt his heart shatter. Yes, I'll stay. Folake turned away, shoulders shaking. Then Damalola's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. He opened it. A photo of him and Folake in the hospital from this morning. Below it, a message. Kemi sent me. Walk away now, or this goes live in 1 hour. Your choice. Damalola stared at the screen. Kemi had sent someone. A spy. A fixer. She was watching. He looked at Folake. At Timmy. Then at his phone. One choice would destroy his empire. The other would destroy his soul. Folake saw his face. What is it? He didn't answer. Timmy grabbed his hand tighter. Daddy, don't go. Damalola stood slowly. He looked at his son. At the life he had abandoned. Then at the door. He took one step toward it. Folake's voice stopped him. So that's it? She whispered. You'll run again? He turned. His eyes were wet. I don't know what to do. And for the first time in his life, Damalola Adenuga Billionaire, empire builder, untouchable man. Had no answer. Outside the hospital, a black car idled. Inside, a woman watched through tinted windows. Kemi smiled. She whispered to herself, "He's mine. He just needs to remember." She placed her hand on her belly. But this time, she wasn't pregnant. She had lied. Damalola stared at his phone. 1 hour, 60 minutes to decide who he would be. The message glowed on the screen like a curse. His hands trembled. Sweat gathered at his temples despite the hospital air conditioning. Timmy's small fingers were still wrapped around his hand. "Daddy, you're shaking," the boy whispered. Damalola looked down at his son. This child he had never held as a baby, never watched take his first steps, never heard laugh. 7 years stolen. 7 years he could never get back. He pulled his hand away. "I'll be right back," he said, voice hollow. Timmy's face fell. "You're leaving?" "No, I need to make a call." Folek stood abruptly. "Don't lie to him. If you're going to abandon him again, just do it. Don't make promises you won't keep." Her words cut through him like a blade. Damalola walked out into the corridor, heart pounding. He dialed Kemi's number. She answered on the first ring. "Have you made your decision?" Her voice was silk over steel. "Why are you doing this?" he whispered, barely holding himself together. "Because I love you," Kemi said softly. "And because I know you. You're emotional right now. You think you want to play a hero, but you'll regret it. That woman, that child, they're not your life anymore. We are. That child is my son. And so is the one sleeping in your bed at home." Kemi shot back. "The one who knows your voice, who waits for you every night, who calls you daddy without hesitation. Are you really going to destroy his life for a stranger?" Damalola leaned against the wall. His chest felt tight. "You lied to me," he said quietly. "You're not pregnant, are you?" Silence. Then Kemi laughed. Soft, dangerous. "Does it matter? You already made your choice 7 years ago, Dammy. You chose me. You chose this life. And deep down, you'll choose it again." The line went dead. Damalola stood there, phone in hand, staring at nothing. 45 minutes left. He walked back into the room. Folek sat on the bed, stroking Timmy's hair. The boy had fallen asleep, breathing steady now, face peaceful. Folek didn't look up. "You should go." "I don't want to." "But you will." She finally met his eyes. "Because men like you always do." Damalola sat down slowly. "What if I stayed? What if I fought for him? For you?" Folek's laugh was bitter. "With what, Dammy? Your money? Your name? You think that fixes anything? It's a start." "No." She shook her head. "A start would have been 7 years ago, when I begged you not to leave. When I told you I was carrying your child. When I needed you most." Her voice broke. "You looked me in the eyes and said I wasn't enough. Those words, Dammy, they killed something in me. And now you want to come back because guilt is eating you alive." Damalola felt tears burn his eyes. "I was wrong. I was selfish. I destroyed the best thing I ever had." "Yes, you did." They sat in silence.